going into like rap groups, playing in the band, sound engineering, it's like that's where all it came from. So I wanted to be the person that was actually doing the story, telling the story, and putting everything together. And it kind of worked out that way. Sometime later, there was a lot of rough little bumps in the middle, but yeah, it's worth it. My digital career is pretty much the best part of my life right now. So yeah, pretty crazy.
I, yo, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So for all those crazy people out there who never heard of your boy who ain't tapped in, they don't know what's going on, give us your name and tell us what you do in a couple of seconds.
I'm the kid Domingo Fresh, and I am a digital media producer.
I like that. I like that. So let's go back to where it all started for you in DC, Northeast, where you grew up, all of that. What's up? How did you fall in love with digital marketing?
Fell in love with it because it was like something that people said I never really could do. So I started doing flyers, started taking pictures. Music pretty much was the very first foreign thing I did as far as DJing. And then production came after that. Going into like rap groups, playing in the band, sound engineering, it's like that's where all it came from. So I wanted to be the person that was actually doing the story, telling the story, and putting everything together. And it kind of worked out that way. Sometime later, there was a lot of rough little bumps in the middle, but yeah, it's worth it. My digital career is pretty much the best part of my life right now. So yeah, pretty crazy.
Let me ask you this. I like that. Did you go to a school of, I don't know, fine arts or anything to learn your craft? I know you're a self-taught musician. I know that. But did you go and kind of hone your craft somewhere else to do the digital marketing?
Now, funny thing is, I didn't go to like any like vocational schools or any trade schools like that. I did wanted to go to Duke Ellington when I was little. I kind of thought of a little crazy way to get back into there, but that was like years later. Like my sister could actually forge my mom's name, so if I should have did that, took all the classes, did, and it kind of just like made my way into it. But that was like something I was like, oh, what, 10 years later, I'm like, oh, I could have done that to get there. But really just trial and error, just jumping into like whatever I really wanted to do. I had this thing, what I say, we made it up when we did a shoot out of the country, and its phrase was for the culture. So anytime you had like a little bit of like fear in your heart to try to do something, we would just look at each other and go, for the culture. And we'd jump in this waterfall, take this picture, we'd go over there, just lean in the water to do whatever. Or if it was a mountain, like hold on to this while we actually lean over the mountain to get the shot. It was just like it was for the culture. So I gotta say that was probably the later version of what it was, the phrase that kind of got me going. But most times it's like, I can't say the word on here right now, but basically like, we would go F it and just jump in. And that's all we would do. So that's what I did with everything from Photoshop to taking pictures. Definitely, I probably think the hardest one was Photoshop and like Premiere at the time, like software wise. But it's always just been taking a picture, jump in, recording, jump in. If you want to try to play an instrument, you look at it, try to play it. You know what? Let's go ahead and jump in. And now it's for the culture. That's the name that I use to do everything. So pretty tough on that. But no official training. Let's get up and go. Let's get it done. Let's do it.
I
That's
like that. I like that. So, where did you get the creativity from? Is this a gift from God? Obviously, it is. But what's up? Did you get it from your mom, your pops, or even your sister? Does she have the gift of creativity like you do?
Nah, I think everybody in my family has that kind of thing they do. So with me, the creativity, well, now talking to my aunt, she said she was the photographer. So, and me and her used to hang around a lot when I was young. So maybe that's the case. But I'm gonna say, just like my sister's a chef, my other sister's a nurse, my brother's like the outdoor work guy, and I'm the creative, and my other brother's a writer. So I'm the only one that pretty much like took on the visual skills and musical skills. My brother got the gift of gab, so he was our manager at one time, got us to shows that we could never got. But I'm probably the only one that takes pictures, only tech guy in the family. So all that kind of runs with me. So nah, just myself. And I guess my son is taking over for me now, like far as like the craft, but he's so busy trying to like build his life. He's young, it's like 20, he'll be 26 in a couple of months. So he's young. but he takes on the craft. He can look at something and just draw it right back. So that I can't do, but I love the fact that he can do that. So nobody from my immediate family except for my aunt, but I think for me and going to my son, that's where the creativity part comes in. Nobody else I know of.
I like that. I like that. So with the taking the photos and stuff, I was checking you out on IG. The photos is mean, retarded. I really like it. What's up? Do you also do music videos as well? In addition to the photos, do you also do music videos as well?
Yeah, music videos is one of the things I do. I have another one coming up. The videos is also, again, I started doing one thing and it ended up my very first video. I mean, no, people say look at this stuff and now and they say it's trash. I looked at it, I thought it was the best for what I could do, but I had literally had just got my camera and started jumping in. So videos now, popping. I love those. Some people let me go off and say, hey, look, they don't even ask a question. It's like, y'all want Kev to shoot this video. And then when we go and do it, next thing you know, just let me just be free. And those videos I like the most. We have a little bit more direction. We got to chop it up. But yeah, videos and also web shows, soon to be features. That's what I'm trying to go for right now. But yeah, I love doing the videos because they're like super duper fun, especially the instrumental videos. I love those too, because you can be a lot more freer than do whatever you want to do and be super creative with some 3D stuff, some animation. Doesn't always have to be live people in it. It don't have to be people in it at all. So I like having videos because I can do what I want to do. And the artists just be like, yo, just go, Kev, do you. And they be happy with the product most of the time.
Okay, all right. I like that. I like that. Let me ask you this. In terms of you doing the videos and stuff like that in Northeast DC, the go-go is really popular. What's up? Who's Domingo Fresh favorite go-go band, if you have one? Who's Domingo Fresh favorite go-go band?
I'm kind of biased because I played for a band and I was a heavy hand and pretty much created the name and all the stuff, the music for it. So I'm gonna say heavy on the top, my band, my crew, plain and simple. That was the people who I rolled with back in the day. You have a lot of things where people use acronyms now, like TCB, BOB, all that. That wasn't a thing when I was playing. You had RE, that was always, you had EU, but that's the only people that used that acronym. No, we came up with something that was like PSB. And I think we started calling us stuff that we didn't want to keep saying plain and simple. So I think probably somebody overheard that, started going in. But outside of us, I would probably have to say somebody that started around the same time that we did. It's a cross between Junkyard and Backyard. But I think Junkyard had a lot more original stuff, and Back did too, back in the day. But plain and simple first, number one, to answer your question, always, every day, forever and a day. And then I'd probably say a tied at the number two would probably be Backyard and Junkyard. Those are my favorite groups, really, for real. Because I remember when all of them started and the memories they had, the songs they made, some history they made. And we played with like Backyard and Junkyard. And funny story, not to hold it up. Have you ever seen the movie Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Oh, wow. I never say that, but I do want to hear this story.
All right. So there's a scene in Scott Pilgrim versus the World where they have to battle this band at the Battle of the Bands. But when they come up to the poster, it says Amp versus Amp. So they was like, what? That means we're gonna be on stage at the same time. So true story. It was our band playing somewhere in Southeast, I forgot it was, against Junkyard. And Junkyard had their system on one side, and we had our system on the other side. So immediately when they would stop and play, we had to play. But needless to say, Junk had all the money. So our system wasn't trash, but it wasn't as strong as those. So you can hear their sound coming through our system. It was crazy. And we had to play at the same time. So every time I see that movie and that scene come up, I'm like, and somebody said, can you play at the same time? I was like, yeah. Yeah, it could be kind of horrible though, but it happened for real. That's a real story.
I like that. So was Domingo Fresh getting into fights at the go-go back then? Did somebody knock you out? You know, there was a lot of fights back there. What's up with your neighborhood? Was y'all getting into fights? What's up? I gotta ask you right here, right
Oh my
now on the
God.
Pimp Game
Come
podcast.
on, man. No, I was pretty much like I'm not gonna say like, people now, I was bullied, you know what I'm saying? So it was more so like we were big into like having the cassettes. And back in the day, you used to like bring a recorder and come and record the show live, like a real bootleg joint. But it didn't matter because some systems that we had sounded so clean at the end. So we just didn't matter what it was. So getting bullied, or like if you had the cassette recorder and you had the tape and the band was cranking it, they sounded, it was crazy that night. And somebody saw you with that cassette, they saw you with that, they'd be like, yo, what's up? What's up? What you doing? Can I see that real quick? And you'd be like, yo, no, I don't want to see it. No, give me that. So, not necessarily fighting at the go-go, but had to make it home with the audio cassette to play for the next day. That was a task by itself, man. It was crazy. So getting jumped and getting bullied, but nah, we never caused some trouble though. We straight geeky audio musicians, artists. We ain't all about that rah-rah. We can fight when we want to, but most times, it's just mostly just kind of getting jacked, man. Hate that. You brought up a bad memory for me.
I like that. So let me ask this, because I know in music or when you're doing videography or whatever, the first client is the very first important client for you to really get the business off the ground. Who was Domingo Fresh's first client when you were doing the music videos or even the photography? Who was your very first client where you was like, dang, I can't believe I got this client?
I'm gonna probably say it was a one-time thing. So my very first client was my older boss. He had a mom and pop shop that was on 15th and K, downtown DC, if you're not familiar. And I used to do all the promos for him. So you know how you go to Target or you go to, like, at the time, Best Buy, and they give you the little sheet that has what they have sales on it, like this was selling this week. So I used to do all those, but I just started doing them. I didn't ask them. I just started doing them. I didn't know too much about PNGs. I used to go in there, just kind of like color out the background. Then I knew how things was getting done at the time. I just threw my hand in there again for the culture for the time. So then it's like I had did a bunch of flyers, and then I started doing windows. But I wasn't on like Macy's level, but I was getting there because I was doing windows in and around the city for dressing up mannequins and putting all these really cool themes together. And so one day I was walking to the bathroom and bumped into me and said, "Oh, I meant to give you this." It was a check for like 350. And I was like, he was the first person to ever pay me for anything creative wise. And he has his business now where he actually helps people get business. So we had a long conversation not too long ago about my business. He was happy to hear that I was where I was at, but the kind-hearted guy that he is, he wanted to help me grow a little bit more. And we're working for something like that now. So he's a dope guy, but he was the first. Shout out to Stanley Cinders. Yeah, he was the first person to ever pay me for anything that I did digital. I love that guy, man. He's pretty dope.
I like that. I like that. So what's up? What did you do with the 350? Did you go buy some pizza? Did you take a young lady out? What did you do with the 350? What did you do with the 350?
All right, it's a joke with that. At the time, I was married, so I didn't do anything with it. It's probably she took it and probably spent it on a bill or something like that. I have no idea. Crazy.
Oh my
That married life, boy.
Oh my good. Okay, cool. I like that. All right. Let me ask you this. I was looking at your bio and stuff like that. You first learned by picking up the drums. What's up with that? You picked up your drumsticks and stuff like that. Was that an easy transition for you as an 11-year-old kid?
Yeah, it was the only thing. Music kind of saved my life too many times. Too many stories on that particular end. But when I first saw this band play, I had just moved in the city because I had been moving around for a while, but I just moved to this part of the city and only knew one person. I saw this little kid walking with his mom, asked him his name. His name was Andre, called him Dre for short. And then, so they had this thing. See, it's funny, I just drove past my old neighborhood and I looked and saw like they had this gate. And I was like, man, they'll never know how much fun we had when we were little because everything has changed so much. So they had a thing called the social room where everybody would come together. You could rent it out, have your parties and stuff in it. And so from there, the band was playing. And I was standing in the middle of the doorway. See, I got all these movie references and stuff. But have you ever seen the movie Ratatouille? I'm going back again. Going back.
Okay. I said,
There's a part in, all right, there's a part in Ratatouille where the food critic eats this dish called ratatouille. And basically, when he puts the first dish in his mouth and he swallows, basically it goes to the doorway of his mother's house. It flashes back. So he's standing there looking at his mom fixing like the food, just took him way back to his childhood. And then the camera zooms back out and he has a tear on his face. There was a part in my life where I was standing in the doorway of this place and heard this dude saying something on the mic. Keyboard was playing, they had the drums, they had the cowbell, the congos, all the elements of go-go. And I was just standing in the middle of the door like, what is this sound? Why does this sound so good? Oh my God, what is this? And the very next day, the only friend I had, I knocked on his door. Instead of saying you want to play tag, you want to play 21, you want to go to the movies or something, I said, this little kid stuff. I said, you want to play the band? He was like, yeah. So he came out, and that's my best and oldest friend to this day. So he said he wanted to play the congos because that's what somebody else was playing. I said, I'm gonna play drum because I like that. Huge drumsticks, buckets, cans, boxes, and just getting it together. And then it grew from there. And then I wanted to play keyboard. That's when I stressed out. So I had both the drums and keys, and we used to kill it. And we watched each other play from on boxes and cans. And I'm dating myself, but Sprite bottles used to be rounded, like red Sprite bottles on beers. They used to be like that. We used to play on those boxes, cans, anything you could get, but we had that rhythm. So we watched ourselves grow from playing on boxes and cans to getting the bass, getting the kick drum and the snare, getting several drum sets. I remember walking to my friend getting one Congo. We definitely got ripped off. $400 for one Congo was crazy. We walked that joint back to our apartment. And then I watched him now play with several bands. He got several sets of Congos. And it's just like when the older guys that still to this day see us, they were like, dude, I remember when y'all started. That's crazy that y'all now play for or produce or make music with some of the biggest people that was our idols at the time. We've worked with them or somebody that worked with them. And this all comes from just banging on boxes and cans, man. It's crazy. Just the one to do it. And that's it. Just jump, like I said, jump in and take that and just run with it. But it's an amazing if I can go back to that day and see it and just be standing on the playground and looking, going, wow, this is how we started. And then if I could show the younger me what you gonna do maybe like 10 years, but let alone 20 years from that time, it'd be great, man. But yeah, drums coming out, craziness, life.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Yo, this your boy Kenny D. Hey, I didn't mean to interrupt your show, but I just want to take a quick minute, just to let you guys know. If you want to see more dope interviews like this one, make sure you go on YouTube and check out Pimp Game Podcast. All right? And don't forget about our website, pimpgamepodcast.com, to see all your latest Pimp Game episodes. All right? We got you. Man, I'm done talking. Back to the show. On your road to success and things of that nature, you met some extraordinary people. Who did you, I don't know, bump elbows with, maybe, have a handshake with, maybe a hug, a latte or something? I don't know. What's up? Who did you bump shoulders with along your way? Maybe one or two people.
Change makers in my life, probably Gadget from Digital Hustler. Definitely Sneak Shot Photography, Vicky Ford. Shout out to Vicky Ford. Love me some Vicky Ford. I would say Avani too, because I wanted to work with her. But at the same time, like Avani, we always went just crossing paths. The last time I did this, I forgot people. So I'm going to say, wow, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get him this time. Brody Rhodes. Brody is like my digital, like my creative God and policeman. If I do something that's a little different, he'll call me and say, hey, yo, you need to put a little, or he'll text me or something like that and say, put a little bit more space in that kerning. You need a little bit more tracking on that F right there, and hang the phone up, or just like, that's it. It'll be just like one of those things, but his flyers, his creativity, what he does, he's a monster. And we have similar paths in life, which always kind of similar cross up, and it just like, it's a real tear-worthy kind of togetherness, cohesiveness that we have between both of us. It's really weird, but it's like for being from two different places, two different kind of families and races. But at the end of the day, it's like that whole, we kind of blend together. It's really dope. So Brody, Vicky, Gadget, Ava, dang, it's this ladies, Renita and Alicia. It's too many, man. Kev Brown, the whole low budget crew. Jeez, man. It's too many. I'm gonna have to remember. I should write them down right now because I did this last time and I forgot like two people. They called me out.
All right, all
It's a
right, all
lot,
right.
man.
I like that. I like that. So the name Domingo Fresh. What's up? Is hot. It's all that. It's all that in a bag of chips. How did you get the name Domingo Fresh?
I was born on a Sunday. So in Espanol, of course, Sunday is Domingo. And so my middle name is Dion, but I call myself Domingo for a minute. And I couldn't really realize like how much I love Sunday when I asked my mom and when she was alive, and she said, "Yeah, you was born at 7:30," which I love that number, which is crazy, but 7:30 on a Sunday in November 14th. And I was like, okay, cool. That was dope. So now that explains why I love Sunday so much. Fresh part, I'm not gonna say from Dougie, because before leading in from drums to hip hop, the first thing I did, because I didn't have a beat machine, I didn't have a keyboard, I had the beatbox. So Dougie Fresh to me was at the time better than Bug, Bumpy from Fat Boys. But at the same time, I was like, so I just kind of carried that over. But I always thought things was fresh anyway. So now I was like, okay, anybody I meet, I always give them a nickname and a last name. So they always got like a double name. So for me, I said, okay, Domingo's the first name, what's my last name? This will be Fresh. And we went with it. So now in certain parts of my life, I know when people really know me, when they go back to like an old nickname from like the 80s or something, I said, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They talk about it. But from this point on, it's like Domingo is it. And that's going to be to the day I go out. I love that name. So I'm officially in a minute about to change it to Domingo, period. So yeah, not gonna be like the Prince thing. I'm just gonna be just Domingo. But now it's gonna be like Domingo. I come up with the last name, but that's what
Man,
it's gonna be. But that's I
we're
got.
gonna have to do a petition or something around Northeast DC area so you can keep the name Domingo Fresh. Cause that name is lit. I like it. Don't drop the fresh. I don't know. I mean, do what you want, but I love Domingo Fresh. As far as I'm concerned, you're gonna be Domingo Fresh to me. I don't know. I like that name. I'm feeling it hard.
I
All right,
like that,
cool.
I like that.
So today's quick topic of the show is it kind of went viral. It's unfortunate. In New York, a girl, I think they were two 19-year-old twin girls, they got stabbed. One of them got killed
Mm.
for turning a dude down, like just literally rejected him, saying, hey, look, I don't want to give you my number. I'm seeing somebody, whatever the case may be. What is your
Wow.
thoughts on that? What's up with the fellas these days? The youth, they're killing girls just for telling them, no, you can't get my number. What's up with that? What's Domingo's Fresh take on that?
It's super unfortunate. I never been put in a situation to answer a question like this. I don't know what's going on with the mentality with some guys that will step and do things like that. That's something that I've never heard of anybody take it to that extreme. You might call her a name or something like that. Well, F you girl, I don't need you anyway, but yet you were still trying to holler. Super unfortunate. I don't ever think it should go to that route for anyway. I don't even think you really should say the name. Like you might just have a thing just clown yourself, like your man's in the mix, like, you got turned down. Maybe that was something but it never should go that far. Never should go that far. It shouldn't be at a point where you even want to like put your hands on a woman and basically just like do anything. I mean, I can't even, I can't. I got sisters, bro. I got sisters. And the thing is like, I wouldn't want anybody to do anything like that to anybody's sister, let alone somebody that I know and be like, just because I didn't talk to you, you want to act that way. And that person's life is gone. The person that she was with, missing her, and the person that was there at the same time. And then did they catch the guy or
Yeah, so they
it's
they did lock him up. So that's a good thing. It's just, and I think he was only like 20 years old. The girl was 19, he was 20, but he stabbed both of the twin girls. It's just one of them didn't make it. And I even know, back in the day, if we didn't get a girl number, might be like, oh, you ugly anyway. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
know, you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? A dude might say that, but to go to that extreme, man, yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy. So let me ask you this. If someone wants to work with Domingo Fresh, maybe get a music video done, or maybe have some graphics done, maybe get some photos done, a photo shoot, how can they reach or get in contact with Domingo Fresh?
All right. So if you want to reach the kid right here, you can actually go to Instagram or you can hit my website. Either way is connected. So if you go to Instagram, it's actually creative with a K underscore 71. That's the company. If not, you can go to creative71.com. That's also creative spelled with a K, Kreative 71, the number 71.com. And from there, you can actually ask out to like Instagram, to Vimeo. I'm sorry, not Vimeo, Vimeo. And also everything else I have for socials. You go to socials, it's going to take you everywhere too. And plus the clothing line, AO Apparel. So that's the other one that goes out as well too. So yeah, best way to hit me up. Even if you got information, like if you want to know the best camera settings you can put on your phone to take some things, best camera settings for your DSLR, info, whatever, I dish it out, because I've been taught and I just want to pass it on to everybody else. And that's my end game right there, to be a teacher for this particular thing. So you can help me out by helping you out. So that's how you get at me.
I like that. I like that. All right. So, in terms of the camera, I did want to ask this. I know I wanted to allude to it earlier, but I didn't. So, I want to take this chance to do it now. In terms of a camera, what's the first camera that Domingo Fresh bought for himself to get you started? Or some young girl out there, some young boy out there who want to be the next Domingo Fresh, what's up? What camera should they get, should they invest in first to get the ball rolling?
All right, I'm gonna answer in two parts because one of it is like you probably already have it right now. In today's society, the thing that you could probably get to start and finish and do some incredible stuff with is your personal phone. Now, whatever technology you want to stand beside, I have my preference because I know what works for me. But it's like whatever works for you on your phone wise. This is when you have any ideas, you can say, okay, great. Grab a friend or family member and say, let's shoot this movie or let's shoot this short or let's go out there and do it. I recommend that's the first thing. And if you don't want to have to actually shoot anything like far as like people or things like that, go out and shoot environments, people walking, hustle and bustle. If you really want to tip, go shoot the architecture on top of the buildings. Nobody looks up. Nobody wants to look up on the side, but there's some beautiful architecture that you can actually take. Take a street and just shoot things in the street, the fire hydrant, the light poles. Get your composition right. Learn how to work with different power lights is. And you have a phone in your pocket to do that. You can stick with the free apps that come on the phone. If not, you can venture out to things like Visco, that's VSCO, and they do these crazy filters that's beyond Instagram. It's like a digital darkroom. So if I started today with today's technology, I'd probably just start with a phone and keep it moving. Now, if you want to step over to like the DSLR, because that's your gradual thing. The very first camera I've ever gotten in my life was a Nikon. It was a D51. My second mom bought that for me. So she was the one that actually kind of like she poured into every creative career I have, including when I was married, all that. She was literally the one. The manifestation of what God can be in a person was her. And she actually helped me out a lot throughout my life. So I owe everything. So Nikon, definitely, but definitely your phone. You'd be surprised. I can name you some stuff from some feature films that's been shot with your phone, a specific type of phone, I should say. But whatever technology you have that you run, that you make your calls with, that's your first one. And any SLR, preferably now I shoot with Sony a lot. But I've had all three, Sony, Nikon, and Canon. But yeah, so just get your hand on any camera that you want and go to town from it. Doesn't have to be the super best camera at all.
All right, all right. Well said, well said. So, for all those people who've been rocking with you when you was picking up the drumsticks, when you was at the go-go's, when you was doing your thing at the photo shoots and doing some music videos, any final thoughts for your fans out there before we sign off on Pimp Game?
Let me try to make this up. First, I want to thank you and everybody that's connected, especially Avani, for coming with the opportunity. And you guys just wanted to actually interview me. I'm a small kid, you know what I'm saying? I used to live up in Jersey and I came back to the city. So my first place where my mom has me is always DC. But anybody and everyone who've ever asked me to do a job, asked me to take a picture, whether it be one time or now we're still doing on our 85th time, Shout out to Resmo Promo because they're pretty much holding it down forever. They're family to me now, but we've come up from that side. Like I said, shout out to Brody, the whole team, and geez, man, the whole Planet Simple. Definitely Vicky Bubbles. Anybody who's ever let me take a picture, take a video, do that, edit some stuff for him, or even just gave me a good word. Shout out to DJ Liquor Shot because we just talked about this yesterday. Rob Love, G Rock, DJ Casper at the top. I gotta pause right there. That's my guy. Rest in peace to my dude Sean, because he inspired me, but he's not here to actually see the glory. But I know he's watching. Like, yo, you doing your thing. What's this thing he said? You doing your thing, Playboy. That's what he used to say. So yeah, anybody that ever gave me a good kind word, I want to thank you for that because it pushed me a long way. Oh, dang, shout out to Coyote Gray, man. Everybody that tuned the fork. I need to check them out. Black Cats doing mental therapy. Um, Sick, craziness. But yeah. And anybody and everybody, oh yeah, everybody's good. Salute. I'm telling you.
All right,
I'm
all
normally
right.
somebody else.
Shout out to everybody. All right. So before we let you go, tell everybody who you chilling with.
Yo, it's your boy Domingo Fresh, aka Kev Nice, aka Domingo Vasquez, and I'm chilling right here on the Pimp Game podcast.
All right. And that concludes our show for this evening. And I'd like to thank all our viewers out there, as well as our YouTube lovers, for tuning in. When we upload videos, you are the first to get it. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the one and only, the phenomenal Domingo Fresh, Northeast DC's finest, for blessing us with his presence on the show. I see you next time on Pimp Game. You don't want to miss it. Holla.